everybody, it's Allie Edwards, and welcome to story number 20 in my December daily album for 2023. I woke up today thinking I was going to construct a matchbook, like I had this whole idea of something I was going to do, and then I started working through it, and I was like, this isn't feeling like what I really want this to be. So sometimes people ask me, do you ever start over? Do you change your mind? And you guys see me do that in real time often, right? I'll be like, I don't really want to do that. In this case, I literally already filmed a portion of it and I cut paper, and then I was like, this isn't it. So I'm bringing you in where I'm feeling like this is a little more it. And the reason why the other one wasn't it had nothing to do with anything beyond, I really honestly wanted to just have a bigger photo. I really wanted a bigger photo. So back in, I don't know, I should look this up and see actually when I ordered these, and maybe I will. That'll be part of my journaling. I found on Terrain or Anthropology this year that they had gummy bear style, or little that looks like gummy bears ornaments. Gummy bears are probably my favorite candy, and they have been for a million years. And so when I knew that I was doing this colorful, festive, fun Christmas tree, and I knew I was going to have colorful bulbs and colorful ribbons, and I was like, I gotta have these colorful bears. And if this is your first time following me, or following along for December Daily, I don't do a different tree every year. I don't do a different tree theme every year. Most years, it's my childhood ornaments combined with our kids' ornaments. Very traditional. And this year, based on Anna's desire, my daughter's desire to have a more colorful tree, it's really launched me into this whole other space. So I've been having so much fun with having a colorful, playful tree this year. And these were kind of the last little bit that I wanted to get on there. So as I started planning today's story, which is the part of the jumping off point, is I had already stamped this piece. Let me get that. I used the stamp set in the beginning of the season when I was just making samples and thinking, maybe I will use this, maybe I won't. I didn't know at that particular point in time. But I've kept it in there, and I've had it the whole time with this pattern paper and this sitting on top. And this is what I started working on today. And then you can see where I cut it, and I had a map of all these ideas, and then just decided it didn't fit with what I actually really wanted to do. And so rather than fighting my way through it, I went back in, I simply printed a bigger photo because that's really what I wanted. And I'm going to take you through the process of building that. So this was the stamp set that I used originally to stamp this. I've got Mackenzie, our dark green ink. This is the lighter Willamette ink with the numbers on the bottom. This is gold foil, or not gold foil, but gold embossed with the line there. Super cute, fun way. I mean, you could do a whole album just using this. So I still want to use this as a piece of this page, and I'm kind of just building on top of it. I had set aside these vellum stars. These were, I think, in the December Stories by the Month kit, if I remember right. I'll double check. But they are wonderfully colorful. I have a whole little set of them here that I've had set aside because I've, colorful, festive fun. So I think I'm going to incorporate some of those. So I have my big photo. I ended up going big, and it is not a full page photo, but it's 8 by 8.5, or by 8 by 8.25. And so what I'm thinking about doing is doing something where this is either maybe an intro page, like this either is going to get holes punched in it, which I think is what I might do. I thought, maybe I would do a flip up, maybe I would do something else, but I kind of like the idea of doing this as a page by itself. My journaling then can go on the back, right? I'll do a circle of journaling there. That can work for that space. I also pulled out, we had some large gold numbers, and I used these earlier in the season for our last names here, but I'm thinking that, I might as well just keep leaning into joy, because that's that was my word this year. It's been a theme for this project for sure for me. But I have the J, the O, and the Y, and so I'm thinking that maybe I'll just put this right on top of the photo, and then I'll tell my little story on the back. It'll have this nice little flip up page, and just diving into the pink, because why not? it's making me happy. And this is what I want to encourage all of us to do. If there's something making you happy in this project, go with it. So thinking about doing something like this along the outside edge or along the outside edge of here, I also pulled this one out, which is a really fun, I've used this in the past, I'm pretty sure in this project, not this year, but in December Daily project. This is actually adhesive backed ribbon from May Arts that has the cute little scallop. It's awesome, partly just because it has the adhesive on the back, so that makes it really easy. It can be a great, little border along the top or the bottom. But anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm also thinking that I would like to maybe stitch on here. So maybe like a little French knot, something like that. Probably going to add some sort of, maybe there's something I could stamp there or some other something that could go along the bottom, another little subheading there. But that's where I'm headed today. So come hang out with me. Let's put something together. All right, so this ends up being one of those projects where I just keep going. Like I'm just adding another thing, I just keep doing another thing. So just enjoy the ride. I enjoyed the ride as I did it. So first off was just trimming down my photo and then trimming the vellum to fit there. I also punched the holes using my 6-hole punch. Now I'm adding in the word joy using those larger gold foil puffy stickers there. And then I dove into my chipboard stash to see if I could find a chipboard piece that could fit inside there. And I found one that said little details from today, and I felt like that was perfect. I also decided that I wanted to add one of the chipboard pieces from the main kit and cover up the gold embossed portion that I added on there before. Didn't feel any problem with that at all. And then decided to add colorful, festive fun below the chipboard piece to basically add on to the title here for this particular one. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm doing French knots. So I am not a good person to teach you how to do French knots. I looked this up on YouTube here to find the actual tutorial, and I'll link you guys to the one that I watched. It is also hard because I'm not very good at it. It's hard to get the camera in the right place, but I did a number of them on here, and you'll see them throughout the process, and I really liked adding them on. I think that it's a fun little bit of texture and a nice little pop of color. Also, if you've seen me stitch things before, I often use Scotch tape to hold things down on the back, and that is what I am doing here with these as well. You'll see a couple other examples of this coming up in the process. Okay, I had an idea to try something fun, and this is what I'm going to try. So you guys know I like trying stuff out. This is like part of the fun of doing this project, and even more so this year, I think too. Okay, so I'm looking at my title, right, or my front piece here, which I love. It's going to be great. So I went over to the computer and I typed up journaling, doing journaling in a circle again. I have a tutorial on that if you need a little bit of help with that. You could also just handwrite in a circle. But what I'm thinking about doing is I measured it out. This is a 3-inch circle that I did. I want to try embossing a wreath. So grabbing that wreath stamp again, I'm going to use that. I want to try embossing it with some of these colors. So I've got like a yellow, I've got the fluorescent pink, I have vintage pearl, I have blush pearl, and then I also pulled out this snowflake tinsel one. I was kind of thinking, what would it be like if I did a colorful wreath? It's essentially what I'm thinking. Maybe I need a little green in there too. Let me see I don't think I have a teal. I've got navy. I feel like that one is like too green. Definitely have gold. What's that one? Like a gray. I don't have one that's like just the right thing. So maybe we'll just try with those and see what happens. Okay, so the idea being, it's a little bit too, looks like I might need to make it smaller. So this is another one of those times where I could use the sticker paper on top. I think that this is going to be, it's just a little bit too, made it a little bit too big. So let's measure this out again. Yeah, I made it 3, but it's really like 2.5 is what your journaling probably needs to be inside of the circle. So let me go, let's redo that. Actually, before I do that, let's try this idea out, and then I could either do sticker paper with that. I think for this one, I'm going to use my stamp platform. Okay, so this is just going to help me get a really good Versamarked image on there. So let's test this out. Let's see if we can make this work. Versamark, again, this is the embossing ink. So I'm going to put that all around here. Okay. So now the question is, do I want to do multi-colors? I want to try some. We're just going to play because we can do that. So let's see what happens if we just do like a little bit in a couple random spots. So there's like our peach. I want a tiny bit of this in there. Let's see what this one. And then what do you think? Maybe a little of the yellow too. Let's just see. We're just playing. We're just going to see kind of what this looks like. And then I did want to try the gold on there. This is like the vintagey pearl color. Let's see, we'll try a little bit. Oops. Okay, this is what I was trying not to do, but I did it anyway. All right, let's see what this looks like when we... Okay. This I gotta throw away unless we want to try just mixing that all up. That was my other idea. I might try that just to see what it looks like. But let's see what this one looks like when it melts. Okay, so that's actually pretty fun. So what I want to see is, ooh, that might be awesome. Okay, I love that. So let's do one other one that I want to just see what happens if we mix up all that embossing powder. So what I mean by that is like, let's just, I think I have another little, oh, this might be so fun, you guys. I think it needs a little more pink, maybe. Just drop a little. I did also have this one. This is the glittery one. Let's, oh, just dump some of that in there too. Maybe we need a... I actually even this is a whole other idea. Have you guys, I don't know, I've never done this before. But I actually have some little cups. I use these cups often for like mixed media when I'm doing custom paint and stuff. But I feel like this would work great for this fun little, it's like a mix, right? It's like a sequin mix, but it's in It's a embossing mix. Okay, we're gonna try this. I might still use the other one, but I might use this other one, and maybe we should put a little green in there and just see. Let's do it. Let's do it. I used to have more, and I have less now. Just like a tiny. I have no idea what that is gonna do, but. Okay, did I do this already? Maybe I did. I don't even remember. See what this looks like when we melt it. Okay, I feel like that is so fun. That is fun. So I don't know if you guys can see. It definitely has some of the other colors in there. It's definitely like a yellow creamy, right? And here's my other one. So we can just decide which one do I want. It's going to get, you know, essentially it's paired with this page. I think either one of them will be fine. What I'm planning to do is just basically like use this as a template and kind of cut around the outside there. This is a very imperfect circle, which I liked. But let's get the journaling. I'm gonna do the journaling in a sticker. And maybe this time, somebody had recommended the other day to try punching, using the circle punch for the journaling. So I think I might try that with the sticker paper. So let's do that next. All right, so the first thing that I decided to do was use the wreath stamped portion that I had already done as a template to cut around the outside. You can see that I put that face down because I want this wreath to be essentially the same shape so that I can put it on the back of the patterned vellum there. And especially because this is kind of a wonky, like it's a wonky circle shape. It's not a perfect circle shape, partly because I cut it that way originally. I wanted it to be able to be layered on top of the other one and not see it as much as possible. It didn't have to be perfect, but as much as possible. And you can see how I'm just turning it around there to get it in the right place before I go ahead and add the journaling. So there's my journaling printed on sticker paper. I did try to use my 3-inch circle punch on it, and it could be that my punch needs to be sharpened, but it didn't give me a clean punch on there. I could feel the resistance, so I actually ended up stopping, didn't try to keep punching it, and just ended up using my scissors to cut around that 3-inch circle. This ended up being just fine. Whichever way, if you can get it to go through your circle punch, that's awesome. Otherwise, you can just hand cut it, which is what I ended up doing. You'll also notice that I did put my journaling in green. That was a good way to bring in a little bit of the green color that you've seen me talk about, you know, whether I was going to put it in with the embossing or not. But there we go. Okay, so I've got that on there. Then I started thinking about these vellum stars, and I really liked them, but I didn't have all of the same colors. So I looked through the vellum that I have, which is some just plain sheets of vellum and then some patterned vellum, and I went ahead and used a star punch that I've had in my stash for a bazillion years. And I did a bright pink one, and I did a yellow one, and I'm going to do one out of this teal vellum in a second here. I decided to go ahead and use red line tape and just get this part adhered on the front of that patterned vellum before I started deciding where exactly I was going to want my stars. So at first you can see I did a red one also. I decided not to use the red one. I wanted to kind of keep it more with the similar colors that I was using in the other one. This is also a really great idea if you don't happen to have those vellum stars that I used on the other side. You can totally do something like this where you could use the silhouette and punch them, cut them out if you have a die cutting machine, or if you have a manual die cutting machine, or you could hand cut out of vellum some stars if you like the look. The other thing that I did decide to do, this is where I'm trying all these things out, is what if I use some of those Tim Holtz Rub Ons and rub on some of those onto the stars? And so that's what I ended up deciding to do. When I was working on my collage ornaments earlier this year, one of the fun things that I did do on those was using these rub-ons in this way, where rather than just using one little word or one piece off of the rub-on, I'm using like a big portion of it to create a pattern on top of an embellishment. And so that's what I'm ending up doing on the stars. I am also doing French knots for these stars. So doing the 2 times around and then sticking it back in and trying to hold it in one place. Again, watch the tutorial or just look up how to do a French knot. That's really what I did. And then it gave me a video that helped me do it. Again, I'm not an expert, so it's hard to do those and get them in the right place. But I am repeating this for each of these 3 vellum stars that I punched out. And I really like this as it echoes the front side of the page, right? It echoes the other vellum stars that I was using. I'm getting the French knots in there again, and then I'm adding a little bit of texture. You could also, if we looked at the foil quill pen, the freestyle foil quill pen, you could draw on the stars. You could have hand-drawn outlines on them. You could put polka dots on them with paint pens. Like, there's so many different ways to create patterns on top of custom-made embellishments, and that's essentially what I'm doing here with the rub-ons and then doing the cute little French knots, which I love. I just want to keep doing them and keep practicing, because I know that the more you do them, the better you get. So finishing up that, I did the second one, and then we're going to do rub-ons on the third one. I tried to make sure that I could see at least one word in these as I was going through there, but again, it's more just for the pattern and getting a word-based pattern on top of there, and repeating a little bit of the same kind of design elements that I had on the other side. I definitely liked doing this though, like playing with the even punching out those star shapes. That was really fun. And it gives me ideas for future, right? Oh, let's do some vellum stars with text printed on them. Like, that would be fun as well. So using, again, Scotch tape to adhere those down. And then I am ready to actually adhere that whole bigger circle shape down onto the back of the patterned vellum. Now we're at another place in the project here where I could stop on this one and be like, oh, that feels great. Okay, yay, I'm done. I've got some embellishments on my photos. I've got a fun title circle. I got to play with stamps. I got to emboss. I got to create some custom embellishments. I've got my story in there paired with the big photo that I really wanted to include. I could have stopped, but I didn't. And initially I was thinking that I did add that chipboard piece on there, but initially on those balls, there's a pink ball and a green ball there. And initially I was kind of thinking, man, maybe I'll do a bunch of French knots on there, colorful French knots, not just use the pink. So I got out my embroidery floss. I started to do one, and then I bagged that idea partly based on time, because I had already spent a bunch of time working on this one, which was fun and super enjoyable for me. But what I ended up doing was just grabbing, I had a couple more of those gold foil outlined vellum stars, and just decided to do a red one on the pink ornament there, and then I'm going to do a yellow one on the green one, using the French knot idea to actually stick those or adhere those in place. So that's what you can see that I'm doing on there. And I think that was a fun way to bring those stars onto this page. It's kind of a way to link all of these individual pages together, right? Especially when you have a spread and or, you know, a spread with another page, the front side of it. And again, this is just what felt fun to me. Like, take one piece. You could take one little thing. Maybe you try a French knot today. Maybe you use some pom-pom ribbon along the outside edge, which is what I'm going to do here. Some of this cute pom-pom trim. I'm going to do red line tape on the back. And then on this pom-pom trim, it has one part of it that has more space, and that's the part that I don't even know how to explain that. There's a part of it that has more space that will fit right on top of that red line tape, which is what I am doing as I lay it down on there now. So whatever photo I end up putting down for my next story will be covered in that spot. And just a heads up, in case I didn't say this at the beginning, I am going to be out of town for a couple of days now, and we'll return to the project when I get back from my next adventure. But there you go. I love how this turned out. Super cute, super fun, just a really enjoyable time working through this. The other thing that I ended up doing was, as I looked at the back of that red envelope from yesterday, I was like, oh, I should put something on there. And I had those clear stickers on my desk there. So I have the one that says December Me Loves This So Much, and it seemed like just a great place to add that on. As always, let me know if you guys have questions in the comments below, and we'll see you back here again soon.